Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. I want to wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day today. And if you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Reconciliation. And the reason why you may be involved in some sort of reconciliation in the following week or even in the following month is because there are 5 wonderful planets in the healing water signs today. And remember, the water signs not only rule healing, but they rule our emotions. And that simply means, since they are involved in relationships, there is the possibility that instead of sort of locking horns with somebody, this is actually a very rare period when we can sort of repair hurt feelings, or perhaps recognize our mistakes and perhaps apologize for them and sort of get over them right now. And that's what I mean by reconciliation. So this is a good time to take a little softer approach, or even to sort of back down or back away from a really strident viewpoint right now, so that some people can mend fences. A reconciliation doesn't mean you get everything you want, but it does mean that it is perhaps an easier path to go on. Because if people are so strident in their opinions and so forceful in their attitudes, there is also the possibility that they could sort of get right up to the edge and perhaps go over into a dark abyss or enter a really unknown situation, and that could be pretty scary. Maybe that's not anything we should go for, and that is why we should take advantage of this wonderful configuration of 5 planets in the water signs trining each other, leading us to a very rare period when we can instill some sort of reconciliation right now. And that is because the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Neptune are all in Pisces. And Pisces not only rules hidden things, but it also does rule charity and forgiveness. And so there can be a way that we can sort of overlook a few things, and maybe that could help you reconcile a viewpoint with somebody else right now. And that might be the easier way to go, particularly since Venus and Neptune are conjuncting each other in Pisces. Venus actually rules the law because it rules Libra, and it does rule partnership and negotiation and diplomacy and compromise, and it is conjuncting Neptune, a planet that can be very creative, but it can also rule higher inspiration and dreams as well. And when Neptune and Venus get together, it indicates a time of high idealism. In other words, simply wanting the best for everybody. So that's good. And perhaps behind the scenes there can be more communication about that, because the Sun in Pisces is also conjuncting Mercury, the planet of communication. Those 4 planets are being trined beautifully by a very strong planet. The Moon today is in Cancer. The Moon rules Cancer, and it rules women and our emotions, and it rules our homes and our families, and it rules endings because it rules the last half of life. And Cancers are particularly good at ending something, and there is the possibility that a reconciliation can end something that could involve an injustice. And why would that be? Because the 4 planets in Pisces and the Moon in Cancer are all trining the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio does rule justice and survival. So this is a time when, if we're thinking about reconciliation in any way, and a reconciliation means you don't get everything you want, but you do get some of it. And so if you're thinking along those lines, this is an optimum time to try to nurture a reconciliation along. But will it be too little, too late? It might be. And the reason why is there are 7 planets in the mutable signs, all harshly squaring and opposing each other. The same 4 planets in Pisces, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Neptune, are being very harshly squared by Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius. 2 malefic planets that are certainly not involved in high idealism at all. They generally can create trouble or obstacles. Remember, Mars rules war, greed, jealousy, passion, hate, and so, you know, it's not a very happy planet anywhere, but it is combined with Saturn, the planet of obstruction in Sagittarius, and those planets are being fortified. They're being trined by the 3rd malefic planet, Uranus, in Aries. So there's 4 planets in Pisces being squared by 2 other in Sagittarius, and then those Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius are also squaring Jupiter in Virgo, and Jupiter in Virgo represents proven facts or verifiable events or performance records that you can really see and acknowledge. And so Jupiter in Virgo is being opposed by those 4 planets in Pisces as well. And that makes up the 7 planets in very harsh aspect right now, 2 of which are real troublemakers because Mars and Saturn are malefic planets. So it can be too little too late, particularly if some people have a grudge. That could be Saturn, represented by Saturn, an old grudge, or if some people are simply angry and a little bit broke and want to go on the attack. That could be depicted by Mars. So those things could change a situation very quickly, and if those people with those attitudes do not want to reconcile, there could be a lot of trouble right now. But I think in the end, there is such a rare good possibility of reconciliation right now that I think it would be worth it for everyone to give it a try. So I hope you do. And that is because through compassionate strength, compassionate strength through justice may be able to produce an outcome right now that ends, remember Cancer rules endings, that ends an injustice. And in ending an injustice, something that's been going on for too long that isn't fair at all, if we could end that through compassionate justice, in other words, by realizing it's got to be corrected, there's got to be some justice done, but we can be compassionate about it. If we can end an injustice that has been going on for a while, it will help heal our hearts, and that will, in the end, help us work on getting over some sort of really grievous problem that has been going on for a while. In other words, you can't get over something until you acknowledge it and correct it. And once it's corrected, hearts can heal and we can all go on. And I think through reconciliation and through compassionate strength and justice, if we can end an injustice, we're really going to be able to be better people and go forward. And so I hope that you remember that if you have the chance to go through some sort of reconciliation. Remember, it's a whole lot better than getting up to the edge and falling into a dark abyss or headed for the unknown. I mean, who wants that? So I hope that you sort of back off and give something another try right now, because it's a rare time when it could work. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that there has to be some compassionate justice, and it's that you could be right now caught between wanting to do things all your own way and having a lot of backup on that, because Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius are trining Uranus in your sun, which could make you a little rebellious and want to do everything just according to your own rules. But I think that if you could consider reconciliation right now, that might be the wiser path, Aries, because if you get everything all your own way, you might not have much support. And it doesn't mean you couldn't succeed at getting everything your own way, but there may be no survivors left by the time you accomplish that. And the moon in Cancer today is squaring your sun. Pluto in Capricorn is also squaring your sun. And so that means there can be a home or a family matter or the possibility of some sort of move right now that can not sit too well with you, but I don't think you can win an argument about it either. And that is because the moon in Cancer is a far stronger planet than Uranus in Aries. And so, and that moon's got tremendous backup from those 4 planets in Pisces, which are all right behind your sun sign Aries. So in the background of your life, there can be someone around that would sort of like to make peace right now. And if you could just let them have a little bit of peace and perhaps go through some sort of reconciliation, I think you would be happier in the end than having everything your own way, because I don't think that's going to make too many other people happy. And in the end, it might leave you a little lonely. So I hope you back off a little bit. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time with those 4 planets in Pisces sextiling your sun and the moon in Cancer also sextiling your sun, when you have a soft cushion of support around you, Taurus. And I think that is really going to help you reconcile just about anything right now. And on top of that, you have some good facts on your side. Jupiter in Virgo is trining your sun, and Pluto in Capricorn is also trining your sun. So there can be some good facts based on long-term accomplishments or long-term security that are can be very rewarding for you right now. And if you do decide to reconcile a matter right now, that would be a good idea, because first of all, it's going to be a little easier than you think, Taurus. And one reason why is that yours is a fixed sign, and right now there are no planets in any of the fixed signs. So there is nothing really coming at you right now, Taurus. And so this would be an excellent time for you to rely perhaps on people behind the scenes or others who have a sort of a soft approach right now to help you out with reconciling any kind of a matter that you have on your mind. So if there is a problem, you don't have to go and try to solve it all by yourself, Taurus. I think that you can get a lot of help and a lot of sort of soft there's a soft cushion of support around you, and I think you can take advantage of that, particularly with people behind the scenes. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, those 7 planets that are in mutable signs, of course, are all squaring and opposing your sun sign, which means you can't get away from the fact that there's just a lot of challenges that you have to face right now, and you have been facing them. And you could be saying to yourself, well, it's not fair. Why me? Well, it's just the way the planets are lining up right now. However, even you can find a way to go through some sort of reconciliation right now with other people who have been quite challenging or even very aggressive and just mean. And the way you can do it, Gemini, since your sign does rule communication and change, is to remember that that soft moon is in Cancer right ahead of your sun sign. So if you wanted to talk to someone who was very aggressive or argumentative, or was doing a lot of wishful thinking, or somebody who wanted to just hit you with all the facts regardless of how you feel about them, you know, you could have all these challenges. But if you just decide to do what that moon in Cancer represents, I think you might be able to disarm your enemies right now, Gemini. And the reason why is that the moon rules women, and it rules families, and it rules mothers. And it's a soft planet. And so I think that if you took the mental attitude, Gemini, that if you softened your voice and you took the mental attitude that whoever your adversary is a 2-year-old child and needs to be spoken to that way, then very, very softly you could begin to say things that were words of 1 syllable, that were very simple in short sentences, and lower your voice, and then keep repeating a simple message until they get it, Gemini. And if you do that and you do not react to the challengers, you may be able to evoke some sort of reconciliation. And that's because you're not playing their game. They are going to have to play yours. in order to get along with you. So I would soften your tone, shorten your sentences, and mentally think of people as 2-year-olds right now that need to have a repeated message coming at them, one that is sort of short and sweet. And that way I think that you will put your protagonists at bay. I think you're going to disarm them. And so I hope you give that a try. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, the moon in your sign today being trined beautifully by 4 planets in Pisces means that you're going to be very successful at some sort of reconciliation right now. And I think that it can even be done in a way with compassionate strength through justice. In other words, if you have to administer some justice right now, Cancer, I think you're going to do it in a compassionate and understanding way that is able to end an injustice. In other words, there could have been something perhaps even in your family or in your work area, or even coming right out of the blue, there could be something that is an injustice. It may have been going on for a while, and it has to be ended. And you could do that in a way that brings about some sort of reconciliation, and you could be very successful at that. So Cancer, even if you have hurt feelings about something right now, I hope you swallow those and go ahead and try to end a greater injustice, because if anybody can do it, you can, Cancer, and I think this is the right time. Remember, this is a rare time when that would work. And so I hope you go ahead, remembering that reconciliation means you've got to have some sort of justice, because people have to survive, and those 5 planets in water signs do trine Scorpio. But on the other hand, it's going to do some good. It's going to end something that is not fair. And that will heal our hearts and help us get over it. So I wish you the best of luck, Cancer. This is a wonderful time for you. Whatever you're going to try, I think you're going to succeed. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is simply a time when I think that you can be embroiled in other people who want to move very, very quickly, or you could be reacting to sudden events that can be very surprising. They could even be something like a natural disaster, but you could be involved in that in one way or another. Or there could be a problem with the judicial system or higher education, or something where you have to act very fast. Well, you're not going to have any problem with that, Leo. You are going to be able to act really fast, because all 3 malefic planets are trining your sun sign for the next 2 months. But just remember, this is a rare time when reconciliation can work. In other words, when backing off, not charging forward and not attacking, can do you a little more good. So I hope with that soft, gentle moon in Cancer right behind your sun sign, that behind the scenes you are able to listen to somebody that wants to reconcile a problem right now. It could be a home problem or a family problem. Or it can simply be that something that is an emotional problem could sort of calm down a little bit if you listen to someone's wise advice behind the scenes. So I hope you do that, Leo, because you don't have to go on the attack right now. Others may want you to do that, but it could lead to a dark abyss or to the unknown, and I wouldn't risk that. I wouldn't take a gamble right now, Leo. I don't think that's a good idea. Try a soft approach instead. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, you can certainly be set by a lot of problems right now, and that is because the 4 planets in Pisces are opposing Jupiter in your sign, and Mars and Saturn in Sagittarius are squaring your sun sign. And that means there are people around that want to make trouble for you right now, or there can be a lot of commotion somewhere in your life, or a lot of pressure by people who can be very aggressive, or else they just want to storm forward and have everything their own way. That isn't the way you operate at all, Virgo. And so I think that you're going to have to really work on calming down. If there is an opportunity for something to be reconciled, I think you're going to need a little help on achieving it right now. And instead, if you can't reconcile something, Virgo, then at least withdraw from it. You can do that. You do not have to be in the middle of somebody else's argument. And it might be better if you just rested a little bit right now and sort of took the load off instead. That will refresh you and help you return to what you do well, which is problem solving. It's just that you don't have to solve everyone else's problems, particularly when they may not be sincere about that. And so it would be better just to back off right now and calm down if you can. It's a little nerve-wracking in your life right now, Virgo. That's why you need a little extra calm. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when there aren't any planets in the air signs at all. So there's nobody coming up with any new ideas, and there aren't any planets in the fixed signs, so there aren't a lot of people that are being real stubborn and wanting to hit that hard. There can just be people who want to sort of attack and have everything their own way, as if by being first they can get their own way. And that's true, they could get their own way. There may be no survivors from that, but they could do that. And so that's not what I'm advocating. This is a rare time, Libra, when the laws do have to be upheld and compassionate justice can be done in order to end an injustice. That would interest you, Libra, because your ruler is Venus, and Venus does rule the law and fairness. And it is being conjuncted by Neptune today in Pisces, and that simply means that you and others, particularly others behind the scenes, can have a lot of high idealism. They can want the best for everyone. And I would say that you're going to have to go over past problems or past events in order to make peace and reconcile something. And a reconciliation doesn't mean you get everything you want, but it means that you're willing to let a few things go in order to bring peace. And I hope that's the attitude that you have, Libra, because I think you can succeed with that kind of attitude right now. So try to softly get things sort of patched up if you can right now, because I think you can succeed at that. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time with 5 planets, 4 in Pisces and the moon in Cancer, all trining your sun sign, when compassionate strength through justice is going to work to end an injustice and help heal our hearts so that we can all go on. And you may be the person in charge of that right now, Scorpio, because you would have so much help from other people. You'd have an enormous amount of backing right now in order to try to end an injustice by saying, okay, this has been going on for a while, it's not fair, and it's time that we stop that, and that we sort of balance things out and get things going in a very fair way. Well, you can't end it until justice is done. And so you may be the person that is saying, wait a minute, we've got to do the right thing here. And I think people will give you a lot of support with that. So this is a time when, a rare time, when you can step forward and perform a reconciliation that can be quite healing based on justice. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, I think that you really need to hole up and just stay where you are. And the reason why is that if whatever you want to do right now, I think it's going to be too little too late. And the reason why is that the planets have shifted into having 5 planets in water signs, which denote a perfect time to bring about reconciliation. But you don't have peaceful planets in your sign, Sagittarius. You have Mars and Saturn, and they're being tried by Uranus and Aries. Either somebody wants to stir you up and get you going in a direction that benefits them, perhaps not you, or else you can be facing problems now and even be a little overwhelmed by problems and ready to try anything. And I think you better just step back right now. It's a little bit safer for you because you don't want to go over the edge and into a dark abyss, or you don't want to be heading too much toward the unknown, because this isn't the time for that. This is the time to sort of get together with people and not to have your own way, but to reconcile situations. Even if you can only do that a little bit, that would work out much better. And if you can't do that, then I hope you step back and just back off right now, Sagittarius, because I think that you would be getting into something you couldn't get out of. And that's why I urge you not to do that. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, that moon in Cancer is opposing your sun where you have Pluto today, and Uranus in Aries is squaring your sun sign. And so there can be some sudden upsets or changes right now, or it can be that there is a family matter or a real estate matter that does require a little reconciliation or a little negotiation right now. Since the 4 planets in Pisces sextile your sun, and Venus is there along with Neptune, and Pisces rules things behind the scenes, I would go behind the scenes. Seek out help from people that perhaps nobody even knows you know, who can advise you, particularly about a legal matter, and then you can go forward, Capricorn. So don't feel that you have to solve all the world's problems by yourself. I think now is when you can get some help to reconcile a problem, but you're going to need some help from behind the scenes, and I think it's around. You just have to go out and get it. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is simply a time with no planets in the fixed signs when there's nothing coming up against you right now. Isn't that wonderful, Aquarius? So nobody's out to get you. And yet there are no planets in air signs right now, and so there are no new ideas coming forth either. And so I think this is a wonderful time for you to pause, Aquarius, and even try to mend a few fences, or to realize if nobody's after you right now, this is a good time to get a little rest and catch your breath, and also begin to plan some move that would really make you happier behind the scenes, because the 4 planets in Pisces are right ahead of your sun sign, and Pisces rules things behind the scenes. So I think this is a good time for you to sort of tiptoe out and even think about going in a new direction, or think about how to heal something up, because you could succeed at that, Aquarian, and by mending a few fences, I think that will put you in a better position. But first you have to realize that it's wonderful news that nobody's coming after you, and now is when you can rest and sort of regenerate if you want to. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a wonderful time to be instrumental in bringing about a reconciliation. And that would be based on something that is more fair. And it would be based on having compassionate strength through justice in order to end an injustice. I think you're going to be involved in that, Pisces. Remember, this is a rare time when we can sort of repair hurt feelings, and when we can admit past mistakes and get over them. Certainly an injustice or something that's gone wrong will have to be corrected. But because it is corrected, or the injustice does end, that can help us heal. And that powerful moon in Cancer is trining your sun where you have 4 wonderful planets. And so this is the time to be at your best, Pisces. Maybe to forgive and forget, and to go on in a healing way, and try to do much better, because I know you can, Pisces. So this is the time when, by healing, you can get over something and make yourself happier. I wish you the best of luck. All right, thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by looking at it on our website and subscribing there to STARBORNinstitute.org. Bye.